Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man does. Can he swing from a rim? Yes, he can. He's the... Look out! He's the Spider-Man. Anyways, he's welcome to Spider-Man and the X-Men and Arcade's Revenge. I remember playing this to be my very first Spider-Man game I ever played. Too bad I've never been in it. Believe it or not, I like this game. Even though Teddy Ruxpin couldn't beat this game. Can't say I blame him. Anyways, the basic plot is that Arcade kidnapped the X-Men. It's up to our hero Spider-Man to find these device explosives. And you can select the heroes once you do that. There's not much else to say about the game like usual. That this is basically platforming and to reach the point A to point B. You can reach to the very close end to the levels and beating up enemies and have different abilities. Sure, we know Spider-Man can swing, which is all he does as his best thing. When he takes damage, to get more heart to restore his health. I almost forgot to mention the music is awesome for the Sega Genesis. But I wouldn't say much about the Super Nintendo that's presented by LJN. This game is done by Brian Edge. That makes pretty great classic 90s music. The backgrounds look alright, if they weren't in the dark scene. Some of the bosses in this game are pretty easy to take down. Next you play Wolverine and ends up in a big huge place called that's Toyland, which is completely random for our awesome badass Wolverine from X-Men. Level they choose is a oversized toy level. And that's all you do is just attack enemies and get through the stage. Each one piece and have only lives. But if you lose all your lives, game over. You have to start all over to the very beginning. As a kid, I could not get past these stages because it's obviously hard. And there's the Juggernaut that's charging at you rather slowly and have the chance to handle heavy weights. Alright, next is Cyclops, but you pretty much know what he does in the X-Men series. He shoots lasers and does an awkward kick, like when he's closer to an enemy. I don't know what's the point of that, but I rather stick with lasers. All the levels are pretty interesting and random. Wolverine chooses twice each stage, and Cyclops ends up in an underground cavern cave full of crystals and lots of enemies that want to put bullets in your body, through your body. Not much else to say, that the stages in this game look exactly the same, so I'll just cut to the chase. Some of these enemies are pretty weird looking, and so are the bosses. And next is Storm. And another random stage where she goes underwater holding her breath. I am not Sherlock Holmes or smart as Albert Einstein, but I'm pretty sure she can control the weather and moves all that water.
Hello. Prepárate para una comedia de Halloween que compartirás con toda la familia. You gotta calm down. It's still a date and get ready. The Addams Family, clasificada pequeña.
Ignore that. As I was saying after that, you know what just played. She can still use electricity underwater for some reason. You have to find some air bubbles to restore a bit of air to her body. Because if you don't get enough air bubbles, she starts screaming underwater for some reason. That's her drowning death, which always terrified me as a kid. I always find this kind of random that she forced herself to go underwater and reach up air or before it's too late. Okay, whatever. Next is Gambit. Not much else to say about her stage, so let's go on to Gambit. And this one gets you right on your toes. Also, you have to run the oversized boulder while shooting off enemies on the way and collecting stars to give you extra health power up. And use ultimate special attacks. I don't know, a bunch of, well, other toys trying to kill our hero, Gambit. Have to get enough cards and weapons to defeat them all. I couldn't beat any of these stages. Just only the first one from Spider-Man. And the other boss is a giant card. Okay, whatever. Weird, but okay. And you're going on an elevator. Just avoid getting killed. Yeah, this is all you do in the game. Sure, you could play the X-Men, which is pretty awesome, I might guess, but this is all you do in the game. And just choose different characters, how they play. This is how you do it. And you can, and the game switches to the characters you already play. You play Cyclops, and you pretty much go throughout this stage, a bunch of barrels and enemies you've fought up before. They're basically the same ones. Okay, Cyclops gets captured, and so does Wolverine, I guess. I guess in the final stage, you have to rescue them all again. And Spider-Man's the only one to defeat the bad guys. So in the final level, you're playing Spider-Man one last time to defeat Arcade, and then his giant robot. While you stand next to the other X-Men characters are helping to defeat Arcade's giant robot once and for all. And yes, that's it. That's all you do in the game. And this is how the game actually ends. And our heroes defeat Arcade while he makes his escape, and so as well as our heroes. Overall, this game is pretty fun and good, and so is the sound effects. But too bad the ending kinda sucks. Graphics look pretty good for 1993. Overall, this game is not horrible. It ain't the best one. I like this game for a reason, because of the sound effects and the music's great to listen to as well. As the entire game is you saving the X-Men and you taking down Arcade. You can easily beat this game in probably a half hour. But to be truthful, it is hard to get past these levels without dying. And first time I had to talk about a Spider-Man video game and X-Men game because of these interesting crossovers. So I had to give Spider-Man and the X-Men and Arcade's Revenge and because of how cheap and lazy that they had to reuse some of the enemies over and over again. But it's not really the worst game out there. So I give this game a 5.9 out of 10. I was going to give it a little higher to 6 out of 10, but they could have at least done more interesting characters from the show. New, interesting mutants if they weren't going to reuse the same brain-dead enemies over and over again. Anyways, see you guys in the next review. Video game. I'm Eli E. Martinez, and have a wonderful weekend, mate.